What's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Podcast. Yeah. I am your host, the infallible Phil Marks, and joining me today, two first-time guests in the PWT universe. They are Johnny Bottlez and Don Wayne, the Squared Circle Maniacs.
Yeah.
G'day.
Yeah. What's going on? Outstanding.
Good.
Fantastic.
I'm glad.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. I'm super happy to have you guys on. We were trying to link up for a bit there. WrestleMania season got crazy. We're now into Backlash season, and we're going to talk about that. Are you guys excited to do that?
Sure. Yeah, more excited than I am probably the show that we're going to have to get and sit through this Saturday. Thank God my wife's a wrestling fan. Mother's Day weekend, I'm going to be like, here, watch these three shitty matches that nobody wants.
Happy Mother's Day, honey. Hope you like crap.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, it's Mother's Day, too. My wife's like, oh, Jesus. They sit through a Backlash stream. Oh, man. So, yeah, guys, the Squared Circle Maniacs are over on YouTube. If you're just listening to this on Spotify or whatever, you can go check them out at youtube.com/@SCManiacs. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you can see it on the screen, and also at Johnny Bottlez with a Z, Johnny_Bottlez with a Z. And we got at Bust and Move over on X as well. So make sure you give these guys a follow. I love the Ric Flair profile picture as well.
By the way, we didn't do any of these. A buddy of ours did them that's a big fan of our show. So shout out to Mike Digital.
That is a good look. So before we get into Backlash, guys, you guys have been making content for how long now?
We started, I want to say, was it August 2023, Bottlez? It was three of us, and it got down to a two-man show with just me and Bottlez in December of 2023. So that's when you could probably say we officially started on our voyage together, was around December 2023. It all started, auspiciously enough, with us interviewing the guy that wrote the Nitro book. That's how it really got started. We got to interview him right out the gate. Guy Abijek, great guy, hell of an interview. Really enjoyed that, and just really got me back into my fandom of being a wrestling fan. I'd pretty much given up on the Vince McMahon era. I was out altogether. AEW sort of brought me back in to start watching again, and now I just sort of watch that for the car crash aspect. And now that Vince McMahon's gone, I've really started enjoying watching WWE. It's got its highs and lows, of course. Some days are better than others, but that's what got me going again.
And then what about you, Johnny? What were you tapped out of wrestling? Why the Squared Circle Maniacs? Like, how'd you guys come up with that name?
It was a group on Twitter. I joined Twitter maybe about 2 years ago, and I fell into talking about wrestling online, politics, but I'm not going to go into that right now. Wrestling, music, things like that, classic rock. And I came across the Squared Circle Maniacs, which I didn't know was a thing. I said, what's this hashtag SCM thing? And I Motorhead 711. Shout out to Motorhead 711. He'll be happy his name was mentioned. He'll probably salute the TV screen when he sees it. He was the grand poobah, if you will, of the Squared Circle Maniacs. A bunch of like-minded guys who got together and had a DM thread on Twitter talking about old wrestling, current wrestling, that sort of thing. And I started getting voice DMs from this guy, Don Wayne, because I was just frying people on Twitter. The neckbeards that we would come across. He says, dude, you sound like my drunken uncle. I'm thinking, what? Who is this guy? Bust and Move. Who the hell's Bust and Move? And then he left me a longer voicemail message. What do you think about Hogan? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And we got the notice of the gentleman that ran the website. Should I say their name, Don?
Nope, we're not doing that.
It was where Indians put their icons maybe on a pole. I can't. He doesn't want me to say the name. He doesn't want me to say the name of the website, the YouTube channel. So I
give them no credit.
I'll say their name instead of going in a circuitous route. Totem Pole Nation. Pole Nation was the website. And we didn't know who the guys were. I didn't know. Motorhead knew him. He was talking to him online. A couple of the other guys from SCM was talking to him online. Hey, you guys want to have a podcast? Why don't you guys come on and do a podcast talking about wrestling? I want to have a wrestling podcast on my channel. He was covering basketball, football, primarily football. He was a football coach. And I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to drop any names. But he had like an open audition for guys in the SCM, whoever ever wanted to do it. He was going to send them all a link. And like you did, like, on StreamYard, and we would get on StreamYard and talk about wrestling. Well, Don, what was it? 3 of us showed up?
Yeah.
Don and I and a guy named Scud Scud's a great dude, but he didn't want to have his face on camera. His internet connection was a little sketchy for audio and video, so it wound up. It got Motorhead was there too. Motorhead 711. It got distilled down to just Motorhead, me, and Don, and we did a regular podcast on Totem Pole Nation. And you guys got a show. Guys got a show going on right now. I'll sit back and you guys just talk. And we just talked about wrestling for an hour. And that was the germination of the whole thing. And then, it got whittled down to just me and Don. We left Totem Pole Nation. We started out on our own on this YouTube. How that can be. It can be a little sketchy when you first start out if you don't know what you're doing. Yep. And we gradually made our way. We didn't buy any views.
You can't be doing that.
Yeah, didn't have any bots going on. I know some people who would do that. But
still do that. People still do this.
People still
yes, they do.
There's a frazzled 60-year-old Vietnamese woman in a room in a shack outside her house over in Vietnam with 90,000 cell phones all up against the wall.
Yeah, or in a desert in Arizona.
Desert in Arizona. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Set up a few trailers out there in Nevada somewhere, and there you go.
That's it. You got your own little cottage industry out there of selling views.
The Walter White of fucking YouTube views. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yes. So we opted to do it the right way, do it the honest way. We learned how to do, what kind of equipment to get just starting out. And how to do thumbnails, how to put a show together. Basically, Don does a whole outline for the show, and I just sit there and react to whatever he does. I do the graphics for the channel, the thumbnails, the audio, things like that. But
that's good, man. Well, yeah, I like your guys' thumbnails, and I like I noticed you from Twitter and stuff, just like tweeting funny stuff and like responding to my tweets saying funny shit. Everybody, I implore you, go check out their channel. You guys are streaming like a bunch. You had mentioned a bit ago, Don, that you had like fallen out of wrestling. AEW kind of like reinvigorated it. I'm somewhat in the same boat. I always kept my finger on the pulse of like what WWE was doing, and I was always like watching kind of New Japan and Ring of Honor stuff online. So when AEW came to fruition, me too. I was like, it reignited something in me where I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. Because to me, I was like, oh, I'm a kid and I love wrestling and I listen to Jim Cornette and shit. And if I had $1 billion, I would make a wrestling company that would go against WWE too. But my approach would be I'd sit the fuck back and I'd let people who know what they're doing do it. Tony's approach is like, I'm just going to jump into the whole thing and I'm the CEO, the GM, I'm the guy who washes the boots and I shine the titles and it's great. So,
Tony, can you say one thing for me, Tony?
Sure.
Say, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
And that's the difference. You and I would have enough common sense to know I'm the money mark. I'm going to pay somebody else to run this.
Right.
If I've got an idea, I'll try to float it, but I'm not going to force anything down anybody's throat. And what really got me, I was watching AEW the first time and I noticed one of those guys had no legs in the ring. And I was like, am I seeing this shit right? This bitch doesn't have any legs? What the hell am I watching? I got to see this shit.
Stumpy Martinez. That was Stumpy Martinez, pal.
I'm not even kidding. I saw that dude without legs and I was like, I got to see what the hell this is. This has got to be a parody of wrestling. This can't be a real company. Fast forward 5 years later, they're still around. Guys like Dildo Baggins is gone, but they're still around.
Marco Stunt, the great Marco Stunt.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, they fell off hard too, they fell off with a vengeance. And so, some people are saying WWE's falling off, or some people are saying like, I know you guys are laughing, right? But a lot of the sentiment of the IWC sickos and some of the wackos too. Like I've seen full blown Cody Rhodes stan accounts and like Roman Reigns stan accounts being like, we're watching AEW after this WrestleMania, man. And, these edgelords and sickos are just losing their fucking minds. And with these releases as well that just happened. And some people are saying like post-Mania and the build to Mania and Mania. Some people encompass it, but even post-Mania, like WWE's been lackluster. What are both of your thoughts? You guys can just shoot whenever you want to, but like, what are your guys' thoughts on sort of that sentiment that people are trying to, I feel like that's just online Twitter noise and that doesn't really, or that's like Reddit, it doesn't really reflect like how people view WWE at all right now. But what do you guys think about just all of the noise of like, WrestleMania was shit, the build to Backlash ain't shit, these releases ruined WWE, TKO sucks, blah, blah, blah.
I'll be honest. I like night 1 and 2 of WrestleMania. The ending of the Cody Rhodes match, I think everybody that's a wrestling fan would admit that was less than cool. It seemed like there was a huge power struggle within the dynamics that was WWE. Dwayne Dewey showed up and just threw everything into chaos and then disappeared into the night and didn't show back up. I felt like it was a real power struggle between him and Hunter and Triple H. That's what it felt like going into this. And then the pivot from WrestleMania, it felt like Triple H was sending a big fuck you to The Rock saying, this is my show. I'm changing the entire dynamic of everything you just screwed up, and I'm hitting the reset button, because the Raw after Mania felt like a completely different show. It felt like they were pivoting to all new storylines, and I sort of feel like the build up to Mania was supposed to have something like that in its mind. And after The Rock was completely gone, they said, we're doing it anyway. Don't get this guy's input. Dewey, stay the hell on the sideline. Meanwhile, Dewey's shooting, bullshit from his house in Hawaii, waiting to shoot the movie, talking about, we did this, we did that. Shut up. I didn't buy any of that. It really felt like a power struggle. I don't care what anybody says. You can't tell me that this wasn't a broken chain somewhere in this WrestleMania buildup. Again, I enjoyed night 1 and 2. I hated the finish of the Cody Rhodes match. I think the best thing that could happen right now is you have Cody go away. You run with this John Cena thing as far as you can, and you sort of build back up that story. That's just my take. That's just me personally.
I think the ending of WrestleMania Night 2 felt flatter than a pancake, man. It was flatter than Charlotte Flair's ass. It was horrendous. Didn't care for it at all, but it is what it is. We got what we got because the plans were already laid, and hopefully that the creative team can improve upon the direction that this Cena as champ angle goes. And they can determine the fate of Cody Rhodes, whether he gets the belt back, whether he doesn't, whether he turns heel. I know The Rock wanted him to turn heel. He didn't want to do it. That was a big bone to pick with The Rock on Cody's end of it last year for WrestleMania. There were some things about night 1 I didn't like. Some things about it I did like. But we covered that hard shit. But I differed in that. Don thought both nights were great. I
did.
Yes. And I didn't care for night 1 at all. But the main event of night 1 saved it. I did enjoy that. I think that these idiots who are saying all this stuff about the WWE online, it's a sweet spot of 12 to 20-year-olds who've never had a real job, that live with their parents. They're down in their basement. They've never touched a woman before. They're pounding Mountain Dew and eating Cheetos, punching their puppets and playing Xbox furiously, punching their puppets over pictures of Dakota Kai and Cora Jade. That's what they're doing. And they can't understand why these people were released. They don't understand how a business works, because you have to allot a certain amount of money for advertising.
That's an entirely different subject, though. My God.
No. I was going to say, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to say, well, I want your guys' sentiments on that too. So a lot of people are boo-booing over the release. Hey, come on. That's not very fair to call her Cora Jade, Eric. That's not very fair. No. But listen. Cora Jade and Gigi, they pipe back at Meltzer, and that, Riley Osborne, you brought up before we went on air, right? He clapped back at Brian Alvarez there. So again, and I want you to continue with this, Johnny, the sentiment is like, TKO's ruining WWE. What the fuck with these releases, man?
Right.
And that sentiment is well carried off of, like you said, WrestleMania night 2 ended. I think everybody can agree, flatter than Charlotte's ass. I was going to say flatter than AJ Styles' Earth, but either way,
either way, they're both the same.
And so
I would argue on that. I would argue that Charlotte Flair's ass is definitely flatter.
Good look. She's got the Hank Hill ass.
Yeah. So post that, the Raw was like a fuck you, but then we get the spring cleaning that happens every year. And I made the argument, look, man, they really fucked up their women's tag team division here. So they either need to abolish those titles, or if they keep those titles, then that's fucking dumb. These releases, a lot of them were fucking stupid. That being said, though, some of these people may have like backstage drama and may have still been talking to dirt sheets, and some of those things may factor into it. I'm not saying all the names, but even look at how Cora or Elayna Black has been going off alleging that she was body shamed by her bosses. So who's that? Fucking Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Matt Bloom? Like, there's a group of people we can name when you say my bosses fat shamed me or whatever, body shamed me or
just
whatever.
just to follow up on your point there, isn't she now starting an OnlyFans?
Yeah,
as well?
she's starting. She just dropped
So
an
don't tell me on one hand that you're mentally scarred because somebody called you a fat cow. The same time you're saying, "Hey, here's $15. Look at my ass." I don't want to hear that nonsense.
Hey, Don, you know what they say, brother.
Sometimes in life you got to be a hoe.
So,
exactly.
Jesus Christ. Yes, you do have to be a hoe.
But
that's literally talking out of your ass.
The thing with
Post-Mania, the releases, people are acting, oh, WWE's cooked, the perception's bad, it's all done. What do you make of that with the releases in mind? Do you think that holds any weight, or is that just mostly online noise?
It's online noise. They have no idea how to run a business. These kids who are saying all these things about it, they have no idea that a certain amount of money is going to be budgeted for advertising and marketing. A certain amount of money is going to be budgeted for the office personnel, the agents, the writers. A certain amount of money is going to be budgeted for talent. And if some big names come up, like Mariah May, Britt Baker, should I say Tessa Blanchard, Jeff Cobb?
She's never coming.
She's coming. Trust me, she's coming.
I don't think so. I don't.
I heard a rumor she's coming.
Can I give you guys an allegedly on the whole Tessa Blanchard thing?
If she is it going to be on OnlyFans?
Allegedly.
No.
Only if you're requesting poop videos, from what I've heard. But
that's what I've heard.
Blackheart.
Here's the thing, though, with Tessa is that I guess this whole TNA run is like they're eyeing her up, and if she can get through, like, stay out of trouble backstage. And they teamed her up with Foxy, Alicia Fox, Vix Crow, fan of PWT, actually. That's a shoot. And they're teamed up together in TNA, but if she can get through the, like, you're a racist chance, and like she doesn't get into any trouble backstage, then WWE is interested in her. I would love to see her on the main roster. I guess we're talking in ring, but where does she go? NXT? I just don't know if the WWE fans will accept her. You know what I mean?
You brought something about the IWC fan. The IWC is such a small fan base. Most professional wrestling fans are WWE fans. Let's just clarify that right now. Of all the millions of people that actually watch professional wrestling, most of them are watching WWE, and I would probably wager a bet that less than 20% of them actually get involved in the IWC as deep as, the IWC likes to go. They just see it as a base level and they move on with their life. As far as the releases go, they don't know who the hell these people are. They don't give a shit. They see a name and they move on about their day. There's no name that got released that makes you go, oh my God, how could they do this? There's an old expression in the business, move merch or move on. When all these people that got released, nobody was like, oh God, that's horrible. They're never going to recover from this. Braun Strowman was moving, I don't even know how to describe it, like an 80-year-old man. He's had so many surgeries. His time has come. It's over. He was moving like a mummy.
He tore his groin, the knees are done. There's a rumor he's going to retire.
Yeah, and he was on that big Vince money too. And here's the thing, I blame the fans a little bit because it's like, man, your fandom isn't as loud as your outrage. So when it mattered and you should have been standing Riley Osborne or Oro Mensah this hard, you weren't, and they get released, and now this outrage, it's faux. I will say this. I think they fumbled like a Dakota Kai storyline there with Io Sky and Damage Control, and I think that there is something to be said. She just challenged for the IC title. I'm a story guy. I'm big on like, okay, well, let's break down creatively. When people go like, this wrestling's better. Well, why? Is it just the moves? Like, let's really break down what makes this better or what's better wrestling to consume. That argument aside, with the storyline wise, I do think it's fucked up to let Dakota go, who just challenged for the IC title. That's the one where I'm like, you really couldn't have had like Damage Control split up, fight each other in tag matches even. Like, we need established women's tag teams, or also abolish those belts. Like, that's the thing with me, right?
Glad.
I'm cool. I'm cool if they fire all the women's tag teams, but get rid of the fucking belts then. Like, don't have them if they're just there so that the IC champ can win a tag belt, or like can get a shot at the tag belts. The women's tags can win the tag belts, then they both get in the elimination chamber and shit. Like, why does the tag belts just make you a number one contender for singles belts? Just get rid of them. You know what I mean?
But that's where the IWC steps in and ruins wrestling a lot of times. No casual fan gives two fucks about those belts. None of us do. Yeah. I don't know a single guy or girl that watches on a regular basis that's like, hey, did you know that so-and-so won the women's tag team champs? No one cares except the IWC hardcore perverts, the Cheeto sexuals, as Bottles calls them, that all they want to see is little girls run around these tight-ass shorts and get up on the apron and do the splits. That's who cares about those belts. And you being Bottles don't give a shit.
And what's wrong with that? And what's wrong with that, really?
Dude, do what you want to do in your own parents' basement. Just don't make a fake outrage about it.
I'm naked from the waist down right now.
I bet you are.
The women's tag team titles serve a purpose because they've got all these. You said that they decimated the women's division. They've got all these girls in NXT. I know you watch NXT, Phil.
No. The women's tag division specifically, though. Yeah,
right, but you've got all these women in NXT that have to get called up. Mm-hmm. They're just spinning their wheels down there.
Yeah,
you can't stay in NXT forever. I'm looking at you, Nikita Lyons. You can't stay in NXT forever. Cora Jade. You can't stay in NXT forever. You got to move up. And you've got all these women down there that can go. And they're going to need some kind of title to elevate them, and just a bargain basement title like the women's tag team titles to elevate them and give them some type of prestige on the main roster. And those women's tag titles go down to NXT too, and they're defended down there, so it's not that much of a stretch. So that's why I think those women's tag team titles have a little bit of value, not a lot of luster, but a little bit of value. What'd you say? Kazoo night.
Bullshit.
Kazoo night.
You don't get it, though. Braun Strowman was about to go on a generational run.
Emotional damage.
Oh, man. So if you guys could pick... now, just to be a little more optimistic, and again, man, people are like, you're fucking E-drones, you're Fed suckers. Listen to this. We've just been critical of WWE this whole ass time, right? But if you could be a little optimistic... I guess, or be a little more positive and say, well, I would have kept this one person from the list of releases. Who would you both pick and why?
I plead the fifth.
The fifth.
I honestly, God, can't look at anybody on this list and be like, how could they let that person go? I don't care. None of those people made me watch Raw or SmackDown. I did not give a shit then. I don't care now. People get laid off every day. It's part of the performance package.
Yep.
Either perform or move on. And it's nothing. I don't have any ill will towards them. I wish them the best of luck on their future endeavors. I'm sure Tony Khan right now is writing checks.
Oh, dude,
his daddy can't wait to cash.
I got my notepad out and I have my chart and I brought it to Mark Maron and I showed him what I booked over here and then I flipped it upside down and was like, this way will be better. Trust me. It's great.
I mean, how many of those people do you think he signs? And I'm being serious. I'm willing to bet he signs 3 of them. I'm willing to bet.
Oh, 3's the perfect number, bro. Yeah, I was about to say 3 myself. It'll be at least 3, you know?
Gallus, the guys in Gallus have no value whatsoever. Oro Mensah, who? Riley Osborne, who? Shayna Baszler, maybe.
Yeah, she makes sense from the third perspective, I think, because they need some more tough women in that division.
Right. Biggest star, I would say, out of everyone who was gone is Shayna Baszler out of that last group. Dakota Kai would be number 2. I'd say Dakota Kai. And then I would hire Gigi Dolan because that's our Darby Allin's ex-wife. Jakara Jackson, maybe.
Yeah, maybe her would be another one.
Yeah, my biggest one is Jakara. They fucked up her and Lash as a tag team.
I like the way they broke up
to
metaphor.
Be a thing on the main roster. And here's the thing, though. I know you're like, Oro Mensah gives shit, but if you're watching NXT every week, bro, some of these, Oro Mensah, you're like, well, what? Why would you get rid of Metaphor entirely? Like they just completely abandoned. That shit was super over, man. So to me, it's like, how did they? There had to be something more than meets the eye, Brian.
There you go.
Right, as Dave Meltzer would say, Transformers, robots in disguise.
See, everybody always thinks it has to do with the talent or the team.
Right.
Some people are just a pain in the ass to deal with, and every idea is a bad idea. And you reach the point where you're like, you know what? You're just not worth the headaches that we're going through right now to get you on television. We're presenting you in a prominent spot. You're showing no gratitude, and all you do is come back and bitch. And I just don't want to deal with you anymore. So the best of luck to you.
Cora Jade, before I got on the air with you guys, I was scanning her Elayna Black Twitter account for the picture that she posted of Thea Hale kissing some guy on the cheek, just rather demurely, either in a bar or a restaurant. And Cora Jade said, "You kiss that man on the lips when he's still got my pussy on his breath."
Yeah.
She's post shit like that on her Twitter account, and they frown on that. They do not want to see that sort of content on anybody's Twitter account.
Yeah, she's dated and broken up with I think like 3 or 4 guys. Not that I'm like, ooh, the gossip, you know. I know my wife's into fucking the gossip. You know, this was a thing I covered on my show that that she has been messy, as the kids say these days, you know, about like her relationships and stuff. And like she's dated every person she dated has gone and started dating someone else in the PC or who's on NXT. And so her going, I think, has more to do with that, because Cora, I mean, out of nowhere, she's just not called up. They stick Julia with Roxanne and they just break up that Cora Roxanne team out of nowhere. And then Cora's just gone. And she was a player that I think people saw as a main roster player, you know, like later down the line. So
Phil, what did you think of her wrestling talent?
I'm not her biggest fan. I got to be honest. Like I never really was. But it was her look more than anything, and her ability to drum up interest, which sometimes usurps the in-ring. You know,
I'm sure that Triple H and Shawn Michaels and the powers that be have a list of people, whether they're on-air talent or backstage workers. They have a hit list of people that are pains in the asses backstage.
Yeah.
And they say, when Nick Khan says, we gotta get some money together for Mariah May, Jeff Cobb, Britt Baker. What are we gonna do here? Who are we cutting? We're offering Mariah $500,000 a year to start.
It's that Terry Funk promo. That's what it is. When Terry Funk cut a promo on you, your mother's a whore. I told you she was no good, Sean.
Right, Terry. I'm writing it down right now, Terry. Hold still. I'm writing it down right now.
So there's I guess rumors. I don't know. I don't buy any of these. And again, I'll reiterate this. You know, when people are shocked that like Braun Strowman's released and shit, it's like I've had Husey on my show and we've been like, dude, The Miz might get released. Like, don't be shocked if like big names, you know, I talked about this a long time ago and we were predicting names like Sonya Deville. Actually, that was a name that I had said a long time ago. Like, hey, if she were to ever go, and notice she bears no grudge against WWE. Why? Because they were paying her fucking good, man. They were paying her good and she was on that Vince deal and they kept her around for a long time and she knows, you know, she knows what's up. So shout her out as well. But I'd called that one. The Miz is a name I've thrown out there. The Braun Strowman I threw out there. You know, a Miz will survive because he will take less money and he'll do literally anything you need him to do. He'll do Byron Saxton's job if you need him to do it. You know what I mean? Whereas a Braun Strowman, exactly, his knees are shot and he's getting paid probably 7 figures.
But I mean, there's only one role for Braun Strowman. He's got to be the big guy. And I'm sorry, but, you know, I wasn't watching when he was flipping over ambulances and trucks and shit. That was a Vince McMahon love relationship. And it didn't go any further after that. It's like, I'm big and I'm strong and I can't cut a promo. So what the hell do you do with that?
You know, I was just going to ask you about this tweet you have up on the screen right now from McAfee.
So for those of you listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, we have a tweet pulled up. If you're watching on YouTube, you guys will see this. We're recording it Tuesday, but it'll come out probably Thursday morning. Time Cop. It's like Time Cop. We're here, but we're like there at the same time. So reports suggest that another wave of WWE releases is to commence with rumored names of those being let go. I responded to this and I was like, nobody's shooting you, because he's like, don't shoot the messenger. And I was like, nobody's shooting you. I genuinely want an answer. What reports and how did they suggest these names? Because people are just throwing shit out there. But I don't know. Here's some names that I guess reports are alleging. This could be completely made up by Machiavelli. I don't know. Seems like a good dude. But Austin Theory.
See, this is one that bothers me because I like that guy, but it feels like he is in the Triple H doghouse and he cannot get the hell out of there. And I don't know what this guy did. He can cut a good promo. He can wrestle. He's got the look. He's got it all. There's nothing about this guy I don't like.
Maybe he's got an attitude backstage. I mean, he came up from NXT. And some people might say it was too much too soon. He was a favorite of Vince. Vince had his fingers all over Austin Theory. No sexual.
Oh, did he? Did he now?
No,
yes, he did.
No, did he?
Oil check.
Check.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I believe this list here. Andrade's on this motherfucker right here. He's all over the AAA stuff. And listen.
Yep.
I got my finger on the pulse of that AAA stuff. I've been for a long time. Before anyone tweeted that little tweet under Sean Ross Sapp's thing, hey, what about the AAA deal? I already talked about it on my show. Like, I had known that they were looking at buying a Mexican promotion for a fucking while. I've been saying, you can go back on my show. I've been saying, like, it's going to be a hot lucha summer, and now look at like what we have going on and shit. So again, with Andrade, I'm going to put my foot down on that one and say, no, man, I don't think they're releasing any Latino talent until at least after this Worlds Collide show. You know what I mean? So
let's go down a list. Let's go down a whole list.
Let's go down.
Grayson
So
Waller.
Theory, I mean, to me, Theory and Waller are being primed up for Austin's about to get his babyface push. He had to fall from they had to humble him from the Vince stuff. Now they'll rebuild him up Triple H style. Waller's going to be his first opponent. I think Waller goes over and all that, and they really run with Waller as a heel.
I would be shocked at either one of them, honestly, being released because they were just on Raw. Both of them are obviously in a feud. It's obviously going somewhere. The next one on the list, though,
I agree.
Shinsuke Nakamura, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
I wouldn't be shocked either. That's what I mean. Like, this list isn't so outrageous, but I feel like we can debunk some of these. So just to what you were saying there, Don, with Theory and Waller as well, though, you brought it up, right? Vince McMahon era, and then NXT 2.0 is Waller as well. Like, he was an NXT 2.0 guy. Now, I feel like he's more of a Sean Triple H guy, but that whole 2.0 thing was Vince. You know, Shinsuke, again, he's been getting a shitload of money. Tyler Bate, Johnny, what do you think about Tyler Bate being on this list?
He had a torn pec, I believe it was. He came back just recently, and he's a short man. I hate to say it. He's Johnny Gargano size, but he's a bulky guy. He's a muscular man, and I don't think they gave him a fair shake. I don't think they would cut him. I think the next name on the list.
Hold on now. Hold on.
Go ahead.
No one's going to miss him if he gets cut. No one's going. That's what I was going to say. No one's going to miss him if he gets cut.
You're right about that.
Literally, no one will give a fuck. No one.
What? New Catch Republic's my favorite tag team.
What are they doing? The Pete Dunne. Good Lord. Tyler Bate gets hurt, and Pete Dunne's got a job to everybody.
So,
what are they gonna do?
Josh Briggs, you brought up the next name, Josh Briggs. What do you guys think
NXT
about that
forever.
one?
NXT forever. Yeah. He's been in NXT for the longest time. And he was out of shape. He had to wrestle in a vest, wrestle in a shirt. And I think he's still wrestling in a shirt and vest. But
what are you body shaming him? You motherfucker.
Dude, it's a cosmetic industry. It's a cosmetic industry, pal.
I'm playing the role of the sicko today.
Yes. You got to play the part. He can't have orange fingers and wear boxer briefs and be overweight and wrestle.
Hey, you're the one who said you weren't wearing pants, buddy, not me. So
right, there you go. Yes. It's a little hot in here. That's why it's a little humid. That's why Josh Briggs is a good wrestler. I mean, he's a good talent in the ring. I always liked the guy, but what's going to take it to get him up to the next level? He's always in a tag team. I've hardly ever seen Josh Briggs wrestle in NXT in singles matches. He's always in a tag team. He's got this guy, what's the guy's Kokina Imanora, whatever the guy's name is from Pro Wrestling Noah or All Japan. He's got like a little butterball Japanese guy, a little overweight Japanese guy he was tag teaming with. And that guy said he's going back to Japan. So he bade his farewell to everybody last week on NXT. I don't know if he's going to be there tonight or not. I don't know. I don't really care. But Josh Briggs is a big old raw bone Texan. He portrays himself. He's probably from Kenscocken, Ohio, but he portrays himself as a big old raw bone Texan. So I can see Briggs. He's been there forever. He might get cut.
Are you a big NXT guy, Don?
I watch when there's something to watch. Like I said, I'm not going to live and die by NXT. If something catches my eye, I'll stick around. I do, record every week. I'll fast forward most of it. This guy, Josh Briggs, doesn't catch my eye. Andrade, I'd be shocked. Dragunov, I'd be shocked if they let him go. Dempsey, I don't think anybody gives a shit. I just don't. No one cares if Dempsey comes or goes.
Charlie Dempsey, his father would care. Charlie
ain't going
Dempsey
anywhere.
Is William Regal's son.
I get
Charlie
that,
Dempsey.
but again,
he ain't gonna go nowhere, dude.
Okay. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me. I haven't seen anything about him that makes me want to watch. I get that he's somebody's son. That's
another guy.
The Rock's daughter. The Rock's daughter's got a job because she's the Rock's daughter. She's got that loft issue. If you don't know what a loft issue is, I'll tell you, it's a lack of fucking talent. She's one of them.
Oh my God. I think Ilya would be cool in that fucking Paulie Seth Braun Breaker team. I think he'd be a good third man because he's like crazy. He can beat the shit out of the lower mid card, like the mid lower guys. Braun can take out the mid upper guys, and then Seth can be the world champ or whatever, you know. And then obviously Braun gets mixed in with that. I think Dragunov would be a cool addition to that.
Or
to that. Same with
Gunther and Dragunov? Would they run that back? He's not coming back till September, they say.
I think Zoe Stark is going to get added to that Seth faction. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it's just I have a feeling they released the other two. They kept her. What do they do with her? She's the white meat baby face who does decent flips, or she's the bad tough girl still that we just use to do jobs. It's either the latter or they stick her with this Seth Rollins group and try and like give her something, you know, because clearly Shawn Michaels sees something in her. Mitchin, I don't think she's going anywhere. I don't think
she is either. I don't think she is either. She's on
and Dempsey. Here's the thing: they just pulled the rug right out. Like Noam Dar came back and just took that fucking Heritage Cup trophy back. So if Dempsey went, it wouldn't shock me. But yeah, I don't think he is because he's William Regal's kid. I just don't think he's going fucking anywhere. Triple H and William Regal are like really close, man. I just don't think Dempsey. Yeah, would be going anywhere. But I actually don't believe...
boys? Do you know why they're boys? Because when Triple H got hired in WCW as Terror Rising, William Regal took him under his wing. Because Regal was
I'm a huge Regal fan, man. Yeah, I always thought Regal should have been a world. That's a WWE champion that should have been, that never was, you know?
Well, he was all pilled up.
He came along in the wrong era. Like, Vince McMahon was like, I'm going to make you a Paul Bunyan type guy. What kind of shit is this, Vince? Yeah. Don't worry, it'll work. I'm going to make you the bounty guy. Worst shit ever. You know I'm from England, right, mate?
I think in that list, I'll pick 3. Shinsuke Nakamura. He's going to turn 46 this year. Yeah. I think he's going to be out the door. Josh Briggs is going to be out the door. And I hate to say it, I think Zoe Stark will be out the door because she hasn't gotten over.
I'd agree with you, Bottles. She can wrestle, but she's not there. And she's been trying to do it on her social media posts too. Like I see her really trying. It's not catching on.
Yeah, Dakota Kai could wrestle, but
someone told me there was heat between her and like Liv or something for real a little bit. Like they did have some shit to say to each other, I guess, in private or something. I don't know. That could all just be rumor, you know. I'm not a fucking dirt sheet, but people tell me shit and I take it all with a pinch of salt. But
Phil, let me ask you this. If you worked at a place with a lot of people, did you like everybody there?
Fuck no.
Of course
I don't even like you guys. What do we no, I'm just I don't even like you cynical assholes. What are you talking about?
We are cynical assholes. Yes, we are. You pegged us right, Phil. You pegged us right. I think that not everybody likes everybody who they work with, but they tolerate each other for the sake of making money. That's what it all boils down to. And you had some people in NXT that were immature and they couldn't get out of that high school mentality. I'm not going to say who. I'm just going to leave it go at that.
I think you said who earlier. I think
Cora Jade.
I think we narrowed it down. So, we got Backlash. We're on the precipice of Backlash here, and it's not WrestleMania Backlash. It is just Backlash in St. Louis. It's St. Louis Backlash here, okay? So what are your guys' feelings? Do you think the build to this Backlash has been done well? There's some people of course, we're talking IWC banter and Reddit banter and wherever you go online to look at all the mentally ill people who enjoy wrestling. The people who are mentally iller than the casuals who are already mentally ill and enjoy pro wrestling, because we're all sickos to some degree, right? We love this fucking weird circus act that is pro wrestling, right? So we're all wackos to some degree. But the build up here, the IWC, a lot of people are saying like the build to this has been better than Mania. And then you have another section like, man, they released all these people, but Pat McAfee's wrestling Gunther. What the fuck? Pat McAfee's wrestling Gunther. Like people just Becky Hogan and all this shit, which Becky is doing a little bit of, this is what's going to work for me, sister. You can tell, but how many more years of Becky Lynch do we have left, With that in mind, just the build up to Backlash, I want both of your thoughts. Like, has it been good? Is the IWC correct? Why are they so outraged? Just your overall thoughts.
I think there's 3 matches you look at when you see this poster, and you know right away which 3 I'm talking about that have had the proper build up, and the other 2 sort of feel like building new champion matches, because that's exactly what they are. 2 of them are to establish new champions. The other 3 are to entertain you and to build. I mean, it just is. People want to shit on Pat McAfee. I don't know why. The dude can cut a promo. He's actually been trained as a pro. He can wrestle. Gunther, I feel like, is an all-time heel. I don't think Gunther gets enough credit for what he does. You're not supposed to like what he says. You're supposed to want to see him get beat. I think he's highly entertaining, and I think too many people want to shit on him because he's a throwback heel, and he's not trying to be cool like Seth Rollins with the entrance. He's trying to be the heel that you want to boo the shit out of. Becky Lynch right now is doing the best work of her career, in my opinion, on the microphone. She hasn't been this relevant in years. Everything she's doing in the ring, I'm drawn to. 2 promos in a row now, I've been riveted. I want to hear everything she said. And then you have Randy Orton and Cena. This is what every old school fan from the mid-2000s, early 2000s wanted to see. These are the 2 top guys from their generation going to get one final bow in the ring. I don't know how this is going to go. Both of them have limitations, but the build has been great, in my opinion. The other 2 matches are building your new U.S. champion and your new IC champion. Give them a moment, let them cheat, let them pull some bullshit out of the hat, and then they win, and they walk out retained. That's my opinion. The only title I think you say change hands is going to be Becky Lynch.
Well, I'm looking at the screen right now, and I see, 2 SmackDown matches? That's it. I see that 4-way for the U.S. title. I see Cena Orton, and the rest are Raw matches. I think there's going to be a few more matches out of this, maybe 2, come SmackDown Friday. The last-minute additions. It doesn't make any difference to the Backlash card. People are going to buy this anyway. People are going to watch this on Peacock. If you had the Roadrunner versus the Coyote on this show, people tune in and watch a cartoon of that.
Well, I might just do that. We're partners with WBD, you know. We have the whole Looney Tunes here, right here backstage.
Oh, that's Warner Brothers. Oh, that's AEW.
But here's my question, Bottles. This has been Triple H's motive, right? This has been his MO. He gives you about 5 matches on the non-major pay-per-views or PLEs, and that's what he gives you. These are your 5 matches. If he adds them, I don't think they'll be part of the card you watch.
Could there be a debut? Could there be a debut of a new talent on this show?
Yes. I got a
prediction.
Like who?
Go ahead. Let me hear you.
What do you got, Phil?
Here's the thing, man. You got Jeff Cobb laying in the works here. I've been saying, Jeff Cobb could join this faction. Like, how else do you smash that guy over?
Phil, Jeff Cobb says he's retired on
he's
Twitter.
Retired, Phil.
He's retired, Phil. He was at the beach. I can't do that. I can't do
Sonny
from Cocoa Puff's voice.
To me, you have Malachi, you have Rusev, who just debuted as like singles. Oh, we're singles guys, and we're gonna beat everybody up. If you're gonna bring Jeff Cobb in and smash him over, why not bring him in and let Paul Heyman just get him over to everybody? That would be my prediction. But they're not on this card, right? Is the problem?
What if that's the third man? What if that's the third man for that faction?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying, dude.
That's the rumor, yeah.
Yeah, and you let Heyman just smash Cobb over that way. Or he just shows up and he's like John Cena's heater out of nowhere. And he's like, yeah, here's this new guy I got who I'm not going to be here, but my guy Cobb, like my hitman or whatever, however he fucking phrases it, he's going to make sure, like, take care of business while I'm not here or whatever. And Cena could bring him in.
Is Cobb Samoan?
No, he's, I think, Filipino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe. I'm sorry. I know he represented like Guam in the Worlds or something, like maybe the Olympics or something. I can't remember, but either way, I think you could smash Cobb over like immediately because he's 42. They're not bringing him in to put him on NXT.
Right.
Yeah, they've got to put him over right away. You can't wait with this guy. It's got to be all or nothing right out the gate.
Yeah.
His last run probably in a major company.
Kind of like Batista was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Bronson Reed's ready for a comeback at all, but maybe he shows up and helps Jacob Fatu or something. But Jacob doesn't need help, though. I don't want to start seeing him have a bunch of Samoan guys run out for him all the time either. It seems to be they're making the story like when they do that, it just furthers the beef between him and Solo. Like he wants people to stay out of his way as opposed to run in and help him. However, we can go through, match by match here and just sort of make predictions.
Let me ask you, what did you think of the build for this PLE?
Dude,
what did you think?
Throwing it back at me, I thought it was really good. I love the McAfee Gunther stuff. I think it's great. McAfee can go. Now, if he takes Gunther to the absolute limit, Like when he comes and takes Adam Cole to the limit at NXT, you're like, okay, that kind of you're like 2 Adam Coles, so that makes sense. When it's Gunther, I really want to see Gunther beat the shit out of McAfee. I hope they bloody him up, chop him down, just really beat him like a dog, and then you write McAfee off TV for a while.
he might be going away because he needs some time off because that guy's been going really hard since August. So that might be where we're headed to as far as giving him some time off. But we'll see about that. But you keep going because I do want to talk about the winners and losers.
Gunther, and I'm not going to make a pick yet, but Gunther, that will really put a shit ton more heat on him. And it's just what you said before, right? I'm just sort of regurgitating that. Like, he is just a pure old school heel, and he just wants to be booed.
I think that you're going to see a flurry of offense by Gunther. Then you're going to see Pat McAfee have some hope spots and do a little sequence where he'll run roughshod over Gunther, and then Gunther will take back over and beat the dog snot out of Pat McAfee. Probably choke him out, and there'll be blood involved. And you won't see McAfee for a while.
I got a different take. I'll save it for when we make our picks. But this is why you're making me laugh about Gunther, because this is what makes a great classic heel, is that they lie. They go back on everything they say. Yeah. They say they're a mat technician. They'll use a chair. They'll use the belt. They'll be dirty pieces of shit to make you mad and be like, that guy's a liar.
Yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah, exactly no, it's right. True.
That's why you're so mad.
Dirty pieces of shit.
Yeah, and he's a guy you love to boo, man. Like, I love him so much, but like, fuck this guy, man. And that's why I don't know. He lended so much to Jay. Him and Jay was such a good both ends of the spectrum of like a purist, a heel, the heel of all heels, and then you have the most over. Sponsor mania, if you will. People are like, oh, Yeta mania, it's just corporate bullshit. You have both ends, and it just lends more to Jey Uso, and it was so good. Like, I really enjoyed that whole Yeta mania. I know a lot of people were mad at that, but Gunther losing was the absolute right call. He has like 3 losses. He has like 2 losses or something in WWE, right?
And, 3 losses. I can't wait to talk about the outcome of this match because I think I'm going to blow your mind.
Let's go through this card. So we got Dominik Mysterio defending his Intercontinental title. Believe that, against Penta, El Cero Miedo, Pentagon Jr. No, just Penta. And I wonder who owns the rights to that. Is it CMLL or AAA that own the rights to Pentagon Jr.? Because I wonder if they'll just, so they'll just keep him Penta, or do you think they switch his name to Pentagon? They'll probably just keep him Penta.
Keep a Penta right now.
Yeah, it makes way more sense. Anyways, that's fantasy mark bullshit. It's Tony Khan. That's what I worry about. Don't worry. Leave it to me. So, my pick right here, Dominik Mysterio, Penta. I think we're just going to get Dominik retaining. I mean, I think he's moving merch. The fans want to love him. Why would you beat him right now? He's having a blast as the IC champ. I'm going Dominik Mysterio retains. And that's my pick.
I get a lot of Eddie Guerrero lie, cheat, and steal vibe right now coming off of Dominik. I feel like that's where they're headed with this. Yeah. He is the heel that has been such a dirtbag for long enough that it's become a lovable part of his character. I think he cheats in this match somehow. I don't know if Jughead involves himself. I don't know who does it, but this is when you start building Dominik for a mainstay on the roster. I know a lot of people don't see it, but you cannot deny the guy's got charisma on the microphone right now. He's entertaining as hell. He can wrestle, and I think Penta is being pushed to the moon already. I'm going to enjoy this, but I think Dominik retains.
Did you see that match Monday night where he slowed everything down? Penta did.
I did.
He did not do that breakneck AEW style of wrestling. He slowed it down. He sold a little bit. I used to be annoyed by his bullshit at AEW, but he's really turned me over. Not turned me over. Poor choice of words. He's really turned me around.
You what?
What? Yeah, he's turned my opinion of him around, where I think that he's not bad. And I would wager that the Judgment Day faction gets involved in this match, and Ray Fenix comes in.
I can't wait till that happens. Y'all remember when the Dudley Boys were split up, and then like Spike and Bubba teamed up with Jeff Hardy against 3 Minute Warning and Rico, and they had that match. I think it was at like a Survivor Series or whatever. And then it seemed like everyone was eliminated, and it was just Bubba left. And then Devon comes running down the ramp, and the crowd goes insane. And then the Dudley Boys reunite. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Dude, that shit popped me so hard. I remember as a kid, that shit popped me hard as fuck. And I think we'll get that moment where, just out of nowhere, Ray Phoenix, maybe his music hits. Probably it's WWE in 2025, so the music has to hit. But the music will hit, and then he'll come down, and then they'll hug each other, and then just without explanation, Phoenix will be on Raw or some shit, and then we'll get that.
Probably, but I don't know if you pull that trigger this early.
No, me neither. That's what I was gonna. That's the point I was trying to make. Sorry, you got to milk it for a while before we get there, though. It's like the Dudleys. You had to split them up to get that moment again. Brothers reunited.
You know what? Maybe you save it for Royal Rumble. Maybe you keep pushing them as singles until the Rumble, and that moment in history repeats itself.
Yeah, and because listen. It's a hot lucha summer. I'm telling you, they got the Worlds Collide show. Phoenix and Penta, their masks, Rey Mysterio, they're all being featured like in the graphics for this AAA stuff. I think they pulled the trigger on it sooner than we think. And it might be where Penta's on Raw and Ray Phoenix is on SmackDown. However, they fucking team up for one night only, or like they teamed up for the tag AAA tag tournament or whatever the fuck they do, NXT, whatever they do. I could totally see them just teaming up for that or having a moment. But if we're thinking long term here, I agree. They should just save it, Royal Rumble or one of these big events, and you just have a reunion where they fucking hug, crowd erupts, they start doing all their tag team flippy spots. Everyone's like, holy shit, that's what I hope for. But ultimately, it's good that we're looking forward to shit with Penta down the line, especially as AEW fans, because they ran with them as the tag titles, but they didn't fully capitalize on what the Lucha Bros could have been as singles and as a tag team, I feel like, in AEW.
Well, they didn't rein it in. It was do as much shit as you can every Wednesday night until the crowd is exhausted, so it never matters again in the history of ever. He won with the Mexican Destroyer on Monday night. That's a freaking spot on AEW. And
they built to
That's how it should. Yes.
Yeah, they built to the Destroyer with the hurt leg and shit, and they built to it, and then when it landed, it mattered, and then he didn't just jump to cover him. He took his time, and covered him. And Penta gets it. I really think he was just phoning it in his last little, because he was just getting phone calls randomly, like, hey, will you come to work? Okay, and then he just, will you do? And then Orange Cassidy's like, Orange Cassidy's like, hey, bro, can we do like 6 Canadian Destroyers back to back? And he's like, if it means I'll be on fucking TV this week, yeah, So Penta's just phoning it in, they belong in WWE. So I'm going with Dirty Dom, though. So you guys all have Dirty Dom. We're all in agreement on that, right? Okay. So up next, we were talking about it a bunch, Gunther, McAfee. I think Gunther gets the W. Johnny, let's start with you, because I want to hear Don's mind-blowing pick here, or, fantasy mark booking, if you will. So, Johnny, what do you got to say about McAfee versus Gunther?
I think that Gunther will take control early. I think McAfee will have a flurry of offense, and then it's going to be announced tables being smashed, posted in the rail, thrown into the steps, the usual BS. Then Gunther will pitch him into the ring and have his way with him, beat him down and choke him out. He's going to choke him out. He said that.
Hell yeah!
Are you laughing at have his way with him? Are you laughing at that?
I just love it.
He's going to have his way with him.
Get in the limo, pal.
Get in the limo, pal. I'm going to have my way with you. I'm going to choke you out. Choke this.
Actually, it was my plane. I didn't mean that. You want a kitten? Take a kitten or you're fine.
Get over here. I got a shit.
Yeah. Ooh, here we go. He's going to choke out McAfee. They're going to stretcher him out. You won't see him for a while. Not that he's got anywhere to go, but you won't see him for a while.
Does he bloody him like yes. He bloodied Jimmy Uso?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they need that for this. They need that for this match.
We're going to give you an X-Files here. What's your mind-blowing?
Pat McAfee gets the total shit kicked out of him throughout this entire match. He gets bloodied. He gets beaten. and he wins. And Gunther has now lost 2 matches in a row.
There's no way.
It's time to fall, and it's time to rebuild Gunther, and he's going to lose because of some outside bullshit that's going to get involved. I don't know if it's going to be Adam Cole. I don't know if this is when you get
Adam Cole.
The other guy. Sorry, not Adam Cole, but
Adam Cole.
look, pal.
Hold on. I'll send a cease and desist. You can't do that. I own that character. I own Undisputed Era, but I can't.
It's the greatest night in the history of our sport.
Well, if Adam Cole's on Dynamite, but he's also on Backlash, it's like Time Cop because he would be in AEW and WWE at the same time on different nights.
Open that forbidden door, Tony.
Michael Cole, excuse me. I don't know who causes it, but I just feel like Pat McAfee gets the win. He gets the shit beat out of him, and Gunther's on that trajectory of now he's losing and he can't get out of his own way. That's just how I see it. I feel like they're going somewhere with Gunther's storyline, and this is just part 2 of it.
You brought up Michael Cole, and I'm going to say, what if McAfee doesn't tap out to the choke, and Michael Cole says, stop the match, stop the damn match, and Michael Cole throws the towel in.
I gotta feel like he's getting involved somehow.
He's gotta be
chair shot or whatever. I feel like Pat wins because of him. I really do.
You think the announcer is going to beat the wrestling Nazi? I don't think.
I don't know if the commentary is going to be. I do like Michael Cole throwing the towel in though for Pat, but he doesn't tap. He passes out. I do like that. If Pat sneaks out the win. And then, I do like that as well because it's like, listen, then Ludwig can really start questioning Gunther because that split's going to happen too. They're going to push Ludwig on his own, right? And they're kind of leaning towards that. Like they're not always together. And Ludwig's like, you lost the commentary. Then Gunther's like, what did you say to me? And then they're like both like, Munich,
I'm a bigger German than you are, Scheißkopf.
The Volkswagen,
Yeah. Line. Du scheiße deine Hosen.
Yeah, they're just like, and then dude, I could totally see that. And then one of them's like, get to the chopper, and then they're all just, and then I could totally see that happening as well. So either way, and this is the beauty of WWE as of late, even this last Mania too, because everyone was all bummy and piss panties about it. I enjoyed it as well. Like there's shit I could dissect all day. Overall, I enjoyed Mania. I always do because it is like a spectacle, even if it doesn't live up. It's like not every Super Bowl lives up, but I'm not just like fuck the Super Bowl or whatever. So to me, I just feel like all of these matches at WrestleMania and now this Backlash, a lot of them I could really see it going either way. And that's like the beauty of pro wrestling as well. I think some of them are obviously like Dirty Dom. They're not going to pull the title off them. You got to be real about that. So, and maybe there's some predictability, but I could see it going either way with Gunther or McAfee. On the live show Saturdays is when I lock in my final picks and we do picks against Phil. So, I'll lock mine in for sure because now I got to really think over what I'm locking in. As of now, though, my early prediction, I'm going to go just with my gut and say Gunther's going to pull it off. Lyra versus Becky. Now, people are calling Lyra Bird Lady. She's really starting to win people over like this past Raw with her. I mean, she's great in ring. Her promos are living up. Like, I don't know if her and Becky were like, trust me, we just got to do promos a couple weeks and in a row and like really build this thing up and get heat on it and show people what Lyra can do. She's starting to win people over. To me, I compared her to like Seth Rollins early on or like Kenny Omega. It's like, okay, you're like a really good wrestler who loves wrestling. What now? Like, what else is there to you? To me, Lyra just has felt really forced over, but she's starting to win me over. I think a lot of people are agreeing on that. I think she defends her title here. No, here's my only problem is that Becky put her over in NXT. Becky won the NXT title, put Lyra over. So in this, is it the same thing? Does she put Lyra over first and then that's it? Or does she win this belt, reign with it a bit, then put Lyra over where it means a little bit more? I think that's where we're going because if Becky wins, then Bayley comes back, she could defend it and then she could lose it again to Lyra or something like that on a bigger stage. You know what I mean? Backlash is a transitional period sometimes, right? Where it's like SummerSlam is where you pull the trigger on that big move where like, here's Lyra capturing the gold from Becky and here's and she had the moment with Becky at Mania already. So a lot of people just watch Raw and SmackDown. They're like, what the fuck is it with Bird Lady? And it's like, well, give her a shot. You know, she is good. I mean, I've been critical of her too, but this last week, if it's indicative of what's to come from her, then okay. Like, she can carry the stick and she can and she can wrestle a good match, you know? But yeah, my pick is Lyra. I think or not Lyra, pardon me, Becky. And then we get Lyra at the big stage at like SummerSlam or whatever. That's my pick as of right now. What say you?
I would say that Lyra's she's doing the work of her career right now in the ring and on the microphone. She's never been a big talker, like you said. They've been working on promos probably for her. The Bayley component is going to come into play in this match. I think Bayley's going to interfere, and it's going to be a no contest. She's going to beat down Becky.
Damn.
That's what I think.
So it's like a double heel? It's like a baby face thing? Like what?
Bayley's going to beat down Becky because Becky beat her down.
Right.
Say Becky beat down Bayley. Say that.
But do they boo Bayley for that? Because people are like kind of cheering Becky. I guess on Raw they really did kind of like she was getting them to boo. So maybe she
was an uber baby face before she left to have a kid and raise the kid and all that. So she was an uber baby face.
On Raw they cheered her when she showed up.
Did.
Yeah, so it's like I don't fucking know, man.
These are your casual fans.
Yeah,
your casual fans are cheering.
Yeah.
So once all that dies, she's got to be really heinous to Lyra Valkyria in the ring, and then Bayley runs in and interferes, and you're gonna have a 3-way at Money in the Bank. I think that's the next PLE. A 3-way for the Intercontinental Championship.
That's good.
That's
shit,
what I'm
pal.
predicting. Book it, pal.
I think it's too early to bring back Bayley. I think you save that. I think Becky Lynch wins. Again, she's a shitty heel. I believe Phil's onto something. I think you're going to see their big showdown at SummerSlam where they crown her a singles champion. She won the tournament. I get that. It wasn't a big deal. She didn't get crowned on a major PLE. She is a star in the making. Bottles told me to watch her on NXT, so I started watching her. And she didn't cut a lot of promos, but she could really wrestle. Her promos have not only come a long way, they've come leaps and bounds. I'm super impressed with her. I see why they're big on her. I can't wait to watch her future. I think Becky is here I don't think Becky's here for a long run. I think Becky goes away when school starts back up, to be quite frank. I think Becky's very happy being a mother, and she's going to go back into mom role when it's all said and done, come after SummerSlam. Where that sets up Bayley coming back, I'm not quite sure yet. I think Bayley's earned some time off. She's been going hard for the last couple of years, so I think that's where she's at right now. So I think that's where it's going. I think Becky wins. They build that SummerSlam, and we go from there.
I think as a rebuttal to what you just said, I think Bayley got robbed of her WrestleMania moment, so they've got to put her on a PLE, and I think this will be her big moment on a PLE to interfere in this match and beat down Becky.
It's such a good thing that there's this debate. The triple threat, the same way they did at Mania with Rhea, Bianca, and Io, they could be like, maybe a triple threat, Bayley, Becky, and Lyra at SummerSlam is the money too. Like, now you got me thinking. I love it. I love it so much. You know, that's a good thing that WWE has this problem where we're able to be like, I don't know, man. I really think this could work. And I'm listening to both outcomes here, and I'm like, dude, those both work. Like, I'd be pleased with either of those. And I think that's where, and again, not to make anything about AEW. Oh, me again. Not to make it about that, but like that's where AEW lost everyone, is that there's no good faith. Moxley has to lose or fuck this, you know? That's like an overall sentiment, even among their fans, right? And then even they get boo-boo face about it. Whereas in WWE, it's like, damn, I could see it go either way, and I'm cool. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the ride for the most part, you know? And
I got to ask you something, Phil. Do you have a pet nickname that you call the Moxley group?
Dude, I've had so many. So at first they were the
Do you have one you
clan.
go to? Okay, Bumbleclot.
Yeah, the White Pool Neo Moxley clan is what I call them mostly.
Yep,
now.
I've heard Neo Moxley.
Yeah, so I say the White Pool Neo Moxley clan. But before they were doing that, I called them the Bumbleclot Club when they were just like the Blackpool Combat Club, you know. But yeah, some people call them the Boar Horsemen. I think that's them, right?
I've seen that one. Yes,
yeah.
We called them the Cracker Clan.
The Cracker Clan, that's another one. Yeah. So, but
either way,
the absolute worst faction in wrestling today. You know,
killing that show.
Did you guys see the picture of Marina Shafir and Shayna Baszler side by side?
Yes, I did. That's going around everywhere.
She'll go there.
Yeah, Shayna
I
will
don't
at
know
least
her.
do the Ronda Rousey thing and go do like some Ring of Honor matches. It might not be like Shayna Baszler's All Elite, but it'll be Shayna Baszler has a match in AEW. I'm telling, it might not be that, but it'll be like she has some matches in AEW. She has some Ring of Honor
Oh
matches.
God, we
goes to
signed her.
Japan, yeah, she'll
Shayna
probably wrestle in
Baszler.
Hog and Bloodsport. She'll just do the indies and shit. I think show up everywhere, you know.
Shayna Baszler, all you can eat.
So
She'll
I
take on
think-
Nyla Rose at her first match.
So are we split down the line? So are we 2 for Becky, 1 for Lyra here?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
no, I said the match should be a DQ because Bailey's going to interfere.
so
But
nobody
that still
wins.
gives Lyra the win.
Yeah. Well, it gives it. Yeah, it gives
She
her the
retained.
belt.
Yeah.
She retains.
Yes.
Wait, if
Becky
Bayley
would win by
attacked
DQ.
Becky would
but she
win, but
retains.
Lyra retains.
I'm saying the title's changing hands. That's what I'm saying. The title changes hands.
Fair enough. We'll just do a screw job. Well, fuck it. We'll just do a screw job. We'll put Ken Shamrock in there and tell him take it from him.
Well,
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
in comes Harley Race. I told that bitch to stay in the ring.
Yeah. So we have the fatal 4-way.
No, there will not be any DQs.
Oh, sorry.
This
yeah.
will be this is a clusterfuck of a match coming.
Yeah, there will be.
I
shit
don't have a clue.
exploding.
Yeah. Just
Barricades flying. Perhaps prosthetic legs get involved if what happened on SmackDown happens. Who knows? Jacob Fatu might bite someone's nose off for all we know. The man is so unpredictable in there. And it's Jacob, Priest, McIntyre, LA Knight. Yeah. And I love the heavyweight level, like heavyweight title level guys now being involved in the United States title picture. This feels way better than like LA Knight fighting Santos Escobar and Andrade and shit. No offense to those guys. But yeah, I think Jacob Fatu walks away with the win after like a bunch of crazy shit happens, and maybe a Bronson Reed return could be in there. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to stuff in all the returns, but maybe there's a Jeff Cobb, Bronson Reed, Bailey return. Like, we've listed some returns. I think maybe one of those will happen throughout the show at Backlash, you know?
Well, Solo will be on the outside of the ring, of course.
Right. So, like, does he go, oh, look, and then Jacob's like, get out of here. I don't want you. And then Solo, like, goes away, and then Bronson Reed tsunami someone, and then Jacob's like, what the fuck, man? But still takes the win. I feel like we're getting that separation soon, too, where there's going to be Solo versus Jacob, and does Jacob ride Solo, or does he bring a couple of these Tongan Samoan dudes with him as well? You know, like his uncle teamed with Haku. Haku's kids are with Solo. Maybe the Tongans leave Solo and go with Jacob, or however the fuck they split the floodline. I call them the faux bloodlines, right? However they split those up. But either way, we might not even get any of that story. It might just be like a dynamic between Solo and Jacob, but they're going to build to like Jacob being like, Solo, get the fuck out of here, you know, or however, nah, Uso, I can do this on my own. You know what I mean? That's what they've been doing, and we're eventually getting that match. We thought it would happen at Mania, but instead, I like that they just crowned Jacob the U.S. champ, and I think we just get more of his title reign here, and him taking out these 4 guys. He can take them out in a 4-way, and then he can take them on individually down the line as well. And then I think him and Solo at maybe you know, like SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, something like that. But yeah, I'm going with Jacob all day. What do you guys think?
let me talk to you.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something with Solo, but I think Solo is going to inadvertently get Jacob, you know, hit to where he almost loses, but he retains. And that's sort of what starts the fireworks between them. I feel like Solo is going to interfere and almost cost Jacob the match, but Jacob retains. I don't see how you take it off of him right now. The guy's white hot. You can't get the belt off of him. I feel horribly right now for Drew McIntyre and LA Knight because those guys are super over. They are over the moon right now. Drew McIntyre the past year and a half has absolutely killed not only social media, but his in-ring work. He's been on fire. I can sort of take, I don't know, man. I'm not going to leave it alone. LA Knight I like a lot. He's always over. But Damian Priest, man, it's just ever since he got crowned, something's not right, and it doesn't feel good, and I'm not sure what it is, but he sort of feels like the next guy that's going to get jobbed out over his next year unless he can figure out how to turn this thing around.
Well, they fired his girlfriend, so.
Yeah.
Caden Carter.
I called them Casey too. I was like, damn, you should They should be your white meat babyface tag team of the women's fucking tag division.
Yeah.
You know, the fight from underneath baby faces who do the cool moves that everyone pops for. They fire them both. I'm like, okay, so fuck me, right? Like they might as well just abolish these titles. Anyways, I'm not going to harp on that again, but yeah, I'm familiar. I didn't know she was. See, I'm legit. I'm not outraged by the releases, but I'm like, what the fuck, you know?
What if Rusev does the running? What if Rusev does the running?
Well, he's a Raw talent.
You've been diddling my CJ Perry on the side, you piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you. You let some weird shit happen to her finger. No.
You diddled my wife.
You son of a bitch.
You got to think Malachi Black gets in this picture eventually, too, no?
I think Malachi Black will go gunning for Jacob Fatu after he pins Damian Priest Saturday to win this match.
I think that's Damian Priest's replacement. That guy Triple H has always been high on. I'm not high on him myself. When they said they're bringing him back, the first thing I said was, why?
So for the last time ever in the main event, John Cena, Randy Orton, the shoes on the other foot, because every time they faced off, I believe, other than we actually watched on the show highlights from the match where they wrestled each other for the first time ever as indie talent before either of them were in OVW at the Brian Pillman Memorial show. And there was like 2,000 people filing in. They opened the show, I believe. It was Orton versus Cena. That was the first time they wrestled. And they had great chemistry even back then, for real. It's crazy. And just to see how they were really like mat wrestling each other and doing like athletic young guy shit, you know, the fucking kip ups and the cartwheels and the, you know, but it was very much like technically based. And it was right before they both went to OVW. And then on Raw and SmackDown, they've been playing us like highlights of all these meetups between them now. There was a point in time as a wrestling fan where, and this is where a lot of people lulled out during this time, where Cena and Orton were linking up on a PLE and you were like, fuck, man, again? We gotta see again, dude. But now we look back on it and it's like, God damn, how good we had it, right? And that's why I just really enjoyed the Roman Reigns reign, because it's like, bro, those are the shits you look back on, like you're lucky to even be alive while that happened, you know? You're gonna look back on that so fondly. And I know like people are supposed to get heel heat and that's part of the show and everything, but as far as Roman's reign, like I just enjoyed, dude, I got to see the Hulk Hogan run. Like I was born in 91, so like I came just after like the 80s craze and all of that. So yeah, so to see somebody like Roman, you know, in the business turn around and have this second boom, you know, the Attitude Era was, you know, I was watching that and stuff. Obviously, it was huge. And then we haven't had that again. You know, I lulled out a bit too, where I wasn't fully locked in that like 2013 era where it's like 2015 and Cena and Orton have headlined like however many 20 PLEs together at that point or whatever. So there was a point in time this match was like, fuck, man. They're showing the highlights though. You're reliving it. You're like, dude, if you could only go back, you know, oh, when we were young. And then now we're getting this last match ever where Cena's the heel, Orton's the babyface. This is 100% the last time we will ever get this match. It's in St. Louis. The crowd's going to be white hot. I mean, I think there's only like 16,000 tickets or something sold, you know, not knocking it or anything. But you'd figure it would be like a fucking to the roof sellout. Yeah, I think the building holds like 21,000 or 22,000 or something like that. But to me, this is a match where I know people have been bitching and complaining. Again, I'm taking the long route to get to this point. People have been bitching and complaining. It's been a theme of this show. We've been talking about, oh, how's the buildup been and da-da-da-da-da, WrestleMania. Just enjoy. We're never going to see John Cena hit Cody Rhodes in the balls and cheat to win the fucking WWE title. That's never going to happen again. We're never going to see Cena versus Orton again ever. And this build has been great. Like, I don't know. It's been short. It's been sweet. It's just like, hey, let me do an RKO. Let's cut promos and I'll just hit you with an RKO. Every week during the Cody Rhodes feud and during these couple of Orton fucking interactions, Cena's been left laying as well as the heel. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about Gunther being an old school heel. Well, every single time we see Cena, he's just like eating the fucking mat with an RKO or a crossroads or whatever. And ultimately why? It's because he's going to fucking leave with that title and he's going to reign with this thing for a while during his last ever run. And I love that he has the clock ticking down. Like, here's my appearances.
26.
Yeah, and
26.
I love that he's still shilling the Fruity Pebble merch. But just to see where we started And then you think back to where this is a match where it's like, fuck, not again. But now this is something where I'm like, this match is worth the whole thing alone. Like if these were still pay-per-views, this was worth the buy alone right here, in my opinion. It's because neither of these guys are entirely washed either. And I know it's the John Cena farewell tour. We'll be lucky if we get 2 more Randy Orton WrestleManias. I'm not joking. Like, how many are we going to get? 5, 10?
No, you're probably going to get one more, maybe.
Yeah, like 1 or 2, man.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 at most. His back is going. You can see it when he moves. He can still do enough, but you can tell when I can't imagine how he feels when his body cools down after a match, how stiff it is for him to move that back in the morning after he's hit that mat 5 or 10 times. And you've noticed he's not hitting that mat nearly as much as he used to. That shit's not happening, pal. He's got 3 bumps, and you better get him in because he ain't doing no more than that. Because he can't take it anymore.
Is he Adam Copeland stiff, pal?
No, he is not that. He is not Viagra yet, but that's another story.
Actually, it's New Chew. If you go to savewithconrad.com and you get yourself a New Chew or a Flute Chew.
Jesus.
You don't know the actual name till they give me a fucking check, Eric. Oh, come on. That's not very fair, Phil, to not say the name for the bit until you get a check yourself.
Tony,
I'm here for it. Chat me up. Chat me up about WCW and the NWO. So
why does he rock back and forth like a mental patient?
I have yet to figure that out. That's so weird. I never noticed it until recently when you said
he's just rocking. He never used to do that. He's rocking back and forth like hemorrhoids. What's going on? I don't understand.
It's from drinking sodas, I think, man. Sugar. Anyways, though, all of that to say this. John Cena's walking out with the title and just fucking enjoy this. This isn't going to be a technical masterpiece. There's not going to be a tope con hilo or whatever the fuck. There's going to be none of that. It's going to be 2 guys they're going to do Hulk Hogan versus Hulk Hogan. It's like
Hogan versus
they're just
Orndorff.
Going to do as little as possible, and you're going to fucking enjoy it, and not because it's sponsor mania slop, corporate TKO bullshit, but because these are 2 of the best to ever do it, and this is the last time we're ever going to see them do it together. Pause. So John Cena's retaining, obviously. But we're going to not complain about that. We're going to enjoy it. And whatever the outcome is, I would love to see Jeff Cobb show up and John Cena go, here's my new heater while I'm not here. Talk to this guy. You got something to say to me?
You're big on the Jeff Cobb come in. You're big
just because, well, what are they going to do with him? You got to smash him over immediately. You got to be like, this guy's a fucking devastator. He's got 3 years left in his career. You know, like you got to he's a devastator. He's a destroyer. Why else is he here? Oh, he's just
you know what he might
random new guy on SmackDown. Like, fuck all that. He's got to be something important right away, and because he can portray that. He can do that tour of the islands move. We know Triple H is also big on the Lucha Underground guys, and Jeff Cobb was a Lucha Underground guy. So
I think you had it earlier. I feel like he's coming in to be the 3rd guy in that stable. He's an innovator. He's a revolutionary. Yeah. He's all those things. That's what I think. But I agree with you on this. Cena is going to retain. He's going to keep the title. As long as Cena does not have Travis Scott run into this goddamn match, I'll be okay with it. That's all I ask for. Just have an old school match. You ain't got to do 400 moves. Just Cena, do me a favor. Don't call every match move for move. Please. Bottles, we hear you. You're saying Fiend. I get it.
Is the bloodline dead? Both bloodlines?
No.
Is that just gone now?
It's not dead. It's just sort of sitting on the sideline.
It's just comatose right now.
Yeah, it's just
it's one of those things that can get revitalized at any given moment with the right storyline. It's not totally dead, but it's just sort of sitting there. And the reason I say this is because I believe you will see Jacob Fatu reinvigorate and reignite the bloodline at WrestleMania next year. He will be the new guy in charge.
Both of those guys, the Haku's sons, are both out hurt now. Tama Tonga's out hurt.
I think that, Jacob, if I'm WWE, Roman doesn't have many manias left either. So if I'm WWE, I mean, Solo should go over him one-on-one.
For head of the table next year at Mania.
They don't even need to do that. I think you got to put Jacob over Roman, though, is super important before Roman's done. Yeah. You got to do that. You have to put Jacob Fatu over Roman at some point. Because, again, I've been harping on this on my show and my live shows a bunch, that guys, there's a lot of talent. Even Naomi was just in the media talking about, I'm 37 and I want to have like a bunch of kids and I don't got a lot of time left. So like, this is an important run to me and shit. You got to understand, a lot of these people, Becky, she's not here for a long ass time again. A lot of these people.
I said SummerSlam.
Yeah, dude. A lot of these folks are.
Oh! I just got a text.
Okay.
Mercedes Monet just texted me.
Oh God!
Look at that.
Oh my God! Did you pay the $200?
What's that?
Did you pay the $200 or the $99.99 or whatever?
The $99.99. I'm on a 5-day free trial.
$99.99. What did she text you, dude?
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
That's what she texted me.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what she texted me.
Man, I appreciate you guys for coming on this show. I had a fucking blast. We got to do this more often. I'm going to come on your guys' show. You guys got to come do a live show with me where we react to like Phil Marks bookmarks and just react to all the headlines and make fun of Dave Meltzer and stuff like that.
You got to hit me before I leave with the Down with the Sickness clip.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Shit. I saw them live. Hell of a concert.
Oh yeah, dude. They're amazing.
Oh my God.
So guys, go and follow the Squared Circle Maniacs on youtube.com/@SC Maniacs. And of course, at Bust and Move on X, and Johnny_Bottles with a Z on X as well. Don, do you guys have anything else to plug, or is there anything you want to tell the good folks in the PWT universe?
I do have one thing real quick. We've got a lot of crossover fans, believe it or not, that want to set this up. So I hope this is what all of you were hoping to get. I hope you had some laughs. I hope you it eased your evening, if you will, when you hear this. I want to thank everybody for listening to both of our shows. You guys are the best, and this is why we do it. We enjoy interacting with you all.
Someone said in our chat the last show, whatever happened on that show with Phil?
Yeah, I get asked that too a couple times. And I was like, listen, man, we're doing it this week. So it'll drop, man. This will be out probably Thursday morning, but it's Tuesday. Time cop, like I said before. But listen, man, make sure you go follow these guys if you're not already. Give them a sub. And, man, round of applause for both of you dudes, man. Just thank you for doing this. I really appreciate your time. And we're going to link up again soon. I know it. Thank you for it. And yeah, you guys know where to follow me, youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips, youtube.com/@ProWrestleTimes. I have a Patreon too, /ProWrestleTimes on Patreon. And until next time, I will see you in the Upside Down.